do it.
It's just the gavel. It's the gavel. Thank you.
It's 9 o'clock. Call the Commissioners' Court to order. Declare quorum is present. All legal notices have been posted. And the court is duly called. Can I get a motion to adjourn the court for the April term? It's moved and seconded. All in favor, let it be known by your sign of voting.
Aye.
Those who are opposed, same sign. Chairs in the affirmative. Can I get a motion to open the court for the May term?
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. We need a motion.
No, get a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Fatal, please open court.
All rise. Dallas County Commissioners Court is now in session on this May 2016. The Honorable Clay Lewis Jenkins presiding. Please remain standing for the invocation.
And our invocation today will be given by Emma Paulina Charlotte Baron. Is Emma here? Somewhere? There you are. Emma was born in Gomez Palacio, Durango, Mexico, and moved to Dallas at a young age with her family. After graduating from Irma Rangel Young Women's Leadership Academy in 2014 with high honors, Emma enrolled in Austin College in Sherman, Texas, where she is currently a sophomore and resident assistant. Emma credits her desire to serve her community with her involvement in LULAC, that's the League of United Latin American Citizens, and the North American Dream Team. She hopes to attend law school upon graduation and continue her passion for servant leadership.
Thank you, Honorable Judge Jenkins, and thank you, County Commissioners, for the invitation to be here this morning. Will you please bow your heads with me? Let us all pray silently together as each one of us sees fit. Let us give thanks for the opportunity to gather here today so that we may utilize our collective experiences, knowledge, and expertise to better our communities, our cities, and by extension, our state, our country, and the world. Let us direct positive energy and thoughts towards our County Commissioners Court and each Commissioner so that they may continue to fulfill that with which they were entrusted. May they continue to fulfill their role as public servants to build and improve the county and cities we are fortunate and proud to call home. May they continue to find the strength, integrity, and self-awareness to carry out their duties. And in a world often fraught with uncertainty and disagreement, may the court find the wisdom to handle the affairs of the county in ways that will bring equity, harmony, and well-being to the citizens whom the court is empowered by. Finally, let us stand in gratitude for the opportunity to serve our community and to continue to recognize the common humanity in each individual, regardless of gender, race, nationality, religion, age, and sexuality. Amen.
Amen.
I'm going to do a motion to suspend the agenda. The agenda is turned upside down, and I didn't get a chance to tell them. Judge, if we can be recognized on the agenda that is before us, I'm going to put forth for the court a motion to suspend the agenda, primarily because of the order of matters that are on the docket. They're in counter order. You can't deal with court orders with regards to the award before you deal with court orders 24. It's incongruent, so I do a motion to suspend the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right, we have some resolutions today, and I'll present the first resolution today to our employees of the month. Will the following employees please come forward? Step around, sorry. Let me get it. Michael Flowers and Punas Baby Kutham Purata from Facilities. From Health and Human Services, Derek Wheeler, Robert Castle, and Thomas Lewis. Jeremy Thomason and Ryan Mayfield from Juvenile. Corporal Rebecca Smith from the Marshals and Security. Leah Bauer from Public Works, Fatina Green from the Tax Office, Daisy Dong from the Treasurers. And whereas Dallas County employees are hardworking, dedicated, and play a vital role in achieving the goals and objectives set forth sorry, lost my place there. Set forth each year by the Commissioners Court, most employees perform above expectation and ensure that Dallas County continues to be a regional leader and the destination of choice for residents and businesses. And whereas Dallas County Commissioners Court authorized the creation of an employee recognition program in 2012 to encourage recognition of dedicated employees who represent the best and the brightest of the workforce. And whereas the Dallas County Employee Recognition Program is consistent with the county's approved Strategic Vision 1.5 to maintain a strong and motivated workforce, and specifically, the Dallas County workforce in many ways is the face of Dallas County. It must be knowledgeable, able to provide services for which people are hired, and dedicated to helping improve the system. These employees represent the exemplar employee Dallas County hopes to recruit and retain. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby salute these selected employees for being selected as Employee of the Month, April 2016, for their respective departments, and offers their best wishes for continued success at Dallas County, and I so move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I will. And I will present the next resolution as well. I kind of feel like I'm presenting this resolution to my own family, this is a resolution for Texas Health Dallas representatives. If Jim Berg is here, there you are. There's everybody. So Jim Berg, President of Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital Dallas, Dr. Aurora Estevez, Chief Medical Officer of Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital Dallas, Dr. Cole Edmondson, Chief Nursing Officer of Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital Dallas, and Mary Wiley, the Service Line Director of Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital Dallas. Good morning. Whereas Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital Dallas, Texas Health Dallas, opened its doors 50 years ago today, 50 years ago on May 6, 1966, and recognizes its founder as Dr. William M. Elliott, Frank H. Kidd, M.D., Toddy Lee Wynn Sr., and Roderick M. Bell. And whereas the Texas Health Dallas has grown from a small community hospital of 200 physicians and 175 employees to a level 2 trauma designated hospital staffed by 1,529 physicians, 3,064 employees, and over 400 volunteers who seek to improve the health of the people in the community they serve. And whereas Texas Health Dallas is known as a clinical leader and innovator in the service it provides to the greater Dallas community, Texas Health Dallas was the first in Dallas to open a dedicated women's hospital in 1984, became one of 5 hospitals in the world to introduce BrainSuite intraoperative MRI technology to treat brain tumor patients in 2006, introduced the Sexual Assault Nurse Examiners Program in 2013, started active pursuit of Level 2 trauma designation in 2014, and affiliated with UT Southwestern in 2015 as part of Southwestern Health Resources. And whereas Texas Health Dallas provides advanced medical technology and care in cardiology, oncology, neurology, neurosurgery, and women and infant care, all supported by dedicated medical research and education. And whereas Texas Health Dallas is a flagship hospital within THR, one of the largest faith-based nonprofit Texas healthcare systems nonprofit healthcare systems in the nation. And whereas Texas Health Dallas works with Dallas County hospitals and other providers to ensure critical safety nets of care for the most vulnerable and underserved residents in Dallas County. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Friday, May 6, be observed as Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital Dallas Day, recognizing the service of the that the hospital has provided Dallas County since 1966, and I so move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Jim, anybody want to say? All right. So we have 4 in favor and 1 against. Jim, anybody like to say anything?
Just want to express appreciation for this proclamation resolution. Our mission to provide, to improve the health of people and communities we serve is very important to us. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Anyone else? Roar, anybody?
I want the record to be real clear, and I said this at the time that they did it in 2013. I still say the only reason that we wound up with the sexual assault clinic, notwithstanding my commentary with regards to the whole Ebola piece, but the only reason we wound up with a sexual assault clinic there was because certain women in this community did not want to go to Parkland. And I still maintain that is the case, and that is the reason for my vote.
Well, thank you for that explanation. I want to say to the team at Presbyterian, who I got to know well in Ebola, how much I appreciate your commitment to the community, and I got to see you in the worst of times under fire, and I'm proud to call you all my friends. So thank you very, very much. The final resolution, let me just make sure this person is not here, because if you are here, we certainly want to recognize you. But the final resolution I have today is for Mary John Hill, an adorable lady who I met, who makes Halloween a special time by giving out a bunch of candy to underserved kids. But I don't think she's here today. It's her 100th birthday tomorrow. Is Mary John Hill here? If Mary John is not here, then I will move for adoption, and that will be read at her birthday party. Miss Hill, you are not here, correct? All right, I'll move adoption of the Mary John Hill 100th birthday resolution.
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Our next two resolutions are from Commissioner Daniel.
Yes, well, good morning. You know, people sometimes wonder why we do resolutions, and part of it is to celebrate good things that happen. And so at this time, I would like those from the Parkland's Garland Health Center to please come forward.
At least they brought a delegation that's representative of the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They represent
Everybody
the community
did.
in so many ways.
Yeah, okay.
So please come
Everybody
forward.
did.
Because at this time, whereas the Dallas County Commissioners Court takes special notice and acknowledges the exceptional care Parkland's Garland Health Center, a community-oriented primary care center, has provided to the community as we celebrate their 20th anniversary. And whereas Parkland Hospital pioneered the community-oriented primary care concept in 1987 to provide high-quality, affordable, and accessible medical care. This program is designated by the National Committee for Quality Assurance as a Physician Practice Connections patient-centered medical home. And whereas the Garland Health Center opened in March of 1994 to provide health care to children, adolescents, adults, and seniors, regardless of their ability to pay. Many services provided include physicals, preventive care checkups, sick visits, chronic disease management, acute care, optometry, and women's health services. And whereas the Garland Health Center has a Class A pharmacy, on-site lab, and radiology services, as well as mobile mammography services, on-site nutrition services, on-site social worker services, and translation services. Few clinics offer all these services, and even fewer offer these services at one convenient location. And whereas anticipating 12,000 patient visits a year in 1994, the Garland Health Center has grown significantly to provide nearly 75,000 patient visits a year. Their mission is to provide more than medicine, to assist communities with education, prevention, and outreach services. And whereas the Garland Health Center service is attributed to the leadership, dedication, and the outstanding care delivered by the physicians, nurses, ancillary providers, the partnership with the community and the passion of the Volunteer Advisory Board since its inception contribute to a healthy and vibrant community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court and the residents of Dallas County do hereby congratulate Parkland's Garland Health Center on its 20th anniversary of providing the best possible health care through their philosophy of care, compassion, and the community. And this is done today on the 3rd day of May, and I do so move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
I would like to make a little comment. Our math is not off on the dates in this resolution. Actually, the clinic opened in 1994, but it was not in its current building, and it was in two modular buildings. Would you like to come forward and say a couple of words?
Sorry like that.
They're called trailers, but okay.
Yes, they were probably trailers back
They
then.
were probably double wides.
I want to thank Commissioner Daniels for this recognition as well as the court. We do want to say thank you to all the staff and providers that provide service to the residents of Dallas County. We hope that we're around in another 20 years, so thank you so much.
Thank you for all you do.
Let me say I was pleased to be there the other day, and I was glad to see that Commissioner Cantrell, at the time all of this incepted, followed suit after those of us at Blewett Flower began this initiative. If I remember correctly, the court told me that if we really wanted to embrace this COPC concept, that we needed to figure out how to do it. And a lady by the name, so that we don't get this revisionist history, by the name of Kathleen Gillum, through the DISD and was president of the DISD school board, gave us the property, or leased us the property that we now occupy at Blewett Flower. And from that began the COPC trek. Now everybody wants one. And of course, it's now the land cost alone is about $3 million. The cost to build a facility, depending, everything except Hatcher, is about $7 million, and operationally, it's about $4 million. And while we think that it has provided what it was intended with regards to health care in the community, where it should be in terms of access, Garland, by your numbers of 75,000, you have done that. I definitely want to applaud some of these people. I'm saying, Doctor, good to see you this morning. But these beautiful braided up ladies who've probably been there for about 40 years.
Introduce the
How long have
people
y'all
you
been
brought
apart?
with you, please.
I'll introduce the team here. I'd like to introduce Mamie Kaysen, our supervisor for environmental services. She's been there 20 years.
Okay.
I also have Sherry Godfrey, my administrative assistant. She's also been there 20 years. And then also the gentleman who keeps the clinic running, Bill Clark, who's also been there. They were there from the conception of the clinic for 20 years. So that's why they're here recognizing the clinic. I also have with me Dr. Elizabeth Obiala, who's my lead physician for adults. I have Dr. Raul Rodriguez, who's my lead for the pediatric department. I also have Blanca Bettis, who's my lead in the pediatric department, my nurse, and the tall gentleman, James Thorpe, is also my lead nurse for the adult section as well. So,
Well, thank you for introducing.
Thank you for
them.
all
Thank
your
you And I didn't mean to get y'all mixed up with those black nurses that have been there 40 years and haven't been able to move. But okay. Yeah, that was my point. Gotcha.
I think 40 years seems like a lot, right?
Oh, no, we just retired some the other day. We had recognized them from Blewett Flower. They've been there 40 years. So, yeah.
The second resolution that I would like to present this morning is happening on coincidentally on an interesting day, which today is World Asthma Day. I don't know, many of you probably don't go and I knock on a lot of doors, talk to a lot of people in Dallas County. And one of the things that resonates with everybody is the fact that they know, whether it's themselves, their children, their neighbors, their grandchildren, of problems breathing. Dallas County kids have 3 times the rate of asthma as the state average in Texas. Therefore, I think it is very important that we take note of what we are doing in regard to the status of clean air. So with those who are here related to the clean air resolution, please come forward. A lot of work has been done recently on this, and so what I'd like to do is read the resolution and then would like you to make the remarks if you would. Okay, this is, whereas, according to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, the Dallas-Fort Worth area has been in continual violation of the Federal Clean Air Act for ozone or smog pollution since 1991, resulting in a 10-county non-attainment area. And despite efforts, the DFW annual ozone pollution average actually increased from 81 parts per billion in 2014 to 83 parts per billion in 2015, resulting in a higher annual smog average than Houston. And whereas in official comments, the EPA has stated that the Texas Commission on Environmental Qualities, the TCEQ, proposed DFW Clean Air Plan will not be effective without additional reductions in smog-forming pollution, and is using modeling projections deemed unrealistic. The EPA further warned that the state's refusal to comply with certain Clean Air Act requirements make the plan unacceptable, and under the Federal Clean Air Act, the EPA must approve any state clean air plan submitted for reducing DFW ozone pollution or substitute one of its own. And whereas members of the engineering department of the University of North Texas, UNT, have with TCEQ data replicated the state's computer air pollution model for the DFW Clean Air Plan, and the results demonstrate that a clean air plan that includes additional controls at selected major sources of pollution would significantly reduce DFW ozone levels. Such measures as selective catalyst reduction at Midlothian cement kilns and East Texas coal plants, and electrification of large natural gas compressors in the Barnett Shale would meet or exceed the current ozone standard of 75 parts per billion at all North Texas air monitors. And whereas a 2015 study by University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center's Director of Epidemiology, Dr. Robert Haley, estimates a 5 part per billion reduction in ozone pollution would result in economic savings of $650 million a year and prevent 100 deaths annually throughout North Texas, including 160 fewer ER visits and admissions to hospitals for respiratory problems, 50,000 days worth of children's outdoor activities curtailed, 40,000 lost school days, $175 million lost dollars, and 26 premature deaths in Dallas County. And whereas in 2015, the Texas Medical Association officially requested EPA to reject TCEQ's proposed DFW Clean Air Plan and substitute one which conforms to the scientific, peer-reviewed modeling methods developed by UT Southwestern and the University of North Texas experts, and implementing reasonably available control measures at the state level capable of meeting national ozone standards based on the UT Southwestern and UNT validated models. Now therefore be it resolved that Dallas County requests that EPA reject the proposed state implementation plan for DFW ozone pollution and require a new federal DFW clean air plan that can meet or exceed the current 75 parts per billion federal ozone standard at all North Texas monitoring sites and implement all reasonably available pollution controls as defined by the Federal Clean Air Act. Now therefore be it further resolved, and because of their significant impact on DFW ozone levels and the health of Dallas County citizens, we request the EPA regulate East Texas coal plants as if they were in the DFW non-attainment area or include them in a larger non-attainment area for North Texas under rules governing the new federal 70 parts per billion ozone standard, done this third day of May, and I so move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nay. All right. So that is the motion passes 3-2.
And I would like to say, people look at me and they say, why are you even involved in anything with this particular clean air situation? And in my view, this is a public health issue, squarely in the middle of saying we have problems breathing, our children have problems breathing, and we have the evidence, both scientific and health-related medical evidence, to support that. So I would like to introduce Dr. Robert Haley, who is one of the major providers of that information, to if you have a few words to say.
Yes, I'd like to speak in support of your resolution because I think this is really important. I'm Dr. Robert Haley. I'm former president of the Dallas County Medical Society, and I have with me Dr. John Carlo, who is former the head of our Public Health Committee of the Dallas County Medical Society, and he's now the head of the Texas Medical Association's Council on Science and Public Health, so a major expert in public health. Also, other supporters, including Michael Derazette, who is our CEO of the Dallas County Medical Society. And we're speaking on behalf of the 7,000 plus members of the physicians in the Dallas County Medical Society and the over 4,000 physicians of the Texas Medical Association. This issue of ozone pollution from these coal-fired power plants in East Texas came to our attention really back in 2003, and we've been working really hard since then to try to fix this problem. And we have studied the issue very carefully. We got some nationally known scientific experts to develop a plan and summarizing the scientific evidence for us so that we would be very scientifically based. We advocated controls on these coal-fired power plants for a long time and educated our state legislators, our state regulators at the TCEQ with the scientific facts so that they would know for sure what was the truth. We worked with news media to educate the public. We helped a number of years ago defeat the 19 new coal-fired power plants that were being planned, and as we know now with coal dying, that was a very far-sighted effort on the part of Texans to reject those because they would be a terrible liability at this point. After that, as you know, TXU sold out to a group of New York investors, Wall Street investors and bankers called Energy Future Holdings, which owns them now. And that group has just dug in their heels and refused to make any kind of controls on these, despite the fact that hundreds of these coal-fired power plants around the country have been phased out in favor of much more cost-effective natural gas and others. There's no problem with keeping the lights on if these 3 East Texas coal-fired power plants were either controlled or even phased out. We talked to the Public Utility Commission in Texas, and the commissioners of the PUC say if these were announced today that they would be closed, there would be a feeding frenzy by natural gas and renewable owners to come in and fill that gap, because coal is producing background or base energy, which is on all the time and it's highly lucrative. So there's no downside to phasing these things out. We actually visited with the TCEQ commissioners and talked to them about it, and we were shocked to hear them deny science, tell us that ozone at the levels that we're dealing with are beneficial to the lungs. They're actually saying that. So we then took the step, our constitutional duty in Texas, to issue a petition for rule change to the TCEQ to ask them to change these rules, citing all the scientific evidence, numerous, hundreds and hundreds of scientific studies showing this. They rejected our petition, but not on the merits. They did not in writing dispute the science. They said that it was premature to deal with this issue because they were going to deal with it in the SIP proceedings, the State Improvement Plan proceedings. And so we accepted their good faith that they would do that. The SIP then came along a little over a year ago, and they completely ignored the issue again, saying that these coal-fired power plants, the sources of the pollution, were outside of the non-attainment area of North Texas. And so it's clear that they are not going to act on this. Our latest studies, as Commissioner Daniel mentioned, suggest that there are literally scores of people dying as a result of this pollution, and that's not made up, that's real. Now, if a terrorist were to kill 70 or 100 people in North Texas tomorrow, there would be an outcry, there would be a panic, and here we have 70 to 100 people dying every year as a result of this. Thousands of ER visits and clinic visits and hospitalizations. So it's a really big problem. We feel at Dallas County Medical Society and the Texas Medical Association, we've done everything that we can possibly do to try to convince our state regulators to clean this up. It's an unprecedented problem around the state. We are the worst, and nothing is being done. So with that, with having run out of options with our state, we think the only option is to turn to the federal government, to the EPA, which has the power to regulate those coal-fired power plants, enforce what we think are scientifically proven levels, guidelines, and put an end to this problem. So we strongly support your resolution, and thank you for being farsighted and doing it.
Thank you very much for your efforts and the efforts of the other people involved in the research to provide the facts related to these issues.
Any other comments from the folks in the audience there? I've got a couple of comments on this. First of all, Dr. Haley and everyone, thank you so much for your work, and Commissioner Daniel, thank you for bringing this resolution. We received, I received, I don't know whether others did or not, quite a bit of contact from industry representatives about this resolution. I wanted to address some of I would suspect that they'll get that message out, and so I wanted to address some of the things that were being said from here, so that you would have that information as to at least taking into account their arguments why I voted for this resolution. One argument is that this would hurt jobs in East Texas, predominantly, I believe, in Freestone and Madison County. And while I appreciate that the need for living wage jobs anywhere, as Dr. Haley pointed out, our state is moving increasingly away from coal and moving towards wind energy, solar energy, and natural gas. In fact, yesterday in the Dallas Morning News, there was an editorial pointing out that there is currently not a single drilling rig in the Barnett Shale because the price of gas has plummeted because of a glut in gas. And in 2012, Another thing that was pointed out was that this could damage the grid. We looked at that exhaustively in 2012. We put together a committee, industry, here at Dallas County Homeland Security and Emergency Management. There were people from the state that assisted on that and people from industry, and we looked at the grid. The great news for the grid is that when the wind transmission lines came on last year, it brought us a third increased capacity. So there is no danger to the grid, according to independent experts, if these plants were either retrofitted or if they were put on a schedule to be retired because of the ever-increasing wind, solar, and gas coming online in Texas that's market-driven. Lastly, to our state regulator friends, who are my friends, who I work with on a host of things, I think the majority on this court is, it's been said that this is premature because the plan has not been submitted yet. And we are certainly willing to work with the state because I agree that it would far be better for us to all work together to create our own Texas plan rather than to turn in the plan that we deem to be inadequate only to have it rejected by the federal government and have them come up with a plan. But because I'm not seeing any or even hearing from anyone any plans to change the plan before the submission deadline, which comes up in July, I am voting with my colleagues in weighing these. I don't think it's an either or. I believe there are ways in our plan that we can protect people's living wage jobs in East Texas, but we represent North Texas, and 100 premature deaths, 150 school absences, 120 restricted days of activity. That's just too high of a price for us to pay for a 1970 coal plant to continue running when it is the single highest source, fixed source pollutant for our air here in North Texas. So that's why I'm voting. With respect to all who have contacted my office, I just disagree with you on this issue. Thank you.
Well, they didn't contact well, I don't know about the rest of us. They didn't contact you. My position has been the same. It is premature. That's number one. And Commissioner Daniel didn't get the transmission of the data that I asked that basically refutes what we continue to say is impacting us. I'm not concerned about what's going on, well, I am too, in terms of East Texas, but it's not about jobs. It's about quality of life. And, it's interesting when we continue to talk about grids, because I know people who live in the north, they don't have to worry about it. We've got some basic issues, in the south. We are the ones downwind. I don't care whether it's water, whether it's pollution, and I just find it interesting, we can get all excited about what we think prematurely impacts what's going on with children, but yet and still, in this school district, and I know we don't have anything to say, but apparently there's been no commentary with regards to schools and stuff in communities of color, and especially in the black community. I just find all of it extremely interesting to me, but it is premature, and that's the reason I voted against it.
I just want to say that, as someone who was in 2003 when we started looking at all the coal plants, I've been supporting these resolutions because I have hope that one day we will be able to have clean air in North Texas. And I understand the challenges that we have, from the population growth to the fact that we continue to drive, these cars with all kinds of fuels, and it is something that is going to have to change. And at one point, that's what hope is all about. Yeah, it might be premature, yes, You know, I remember when we went from 85 parts per million to 75 parts per million. Now we're in 70 parts per million, but
Per billion.
per billion, yes. But with that being said, hey, thank you, Commissioner Daniels. We'll continue, you know, to work all together. You know, clean air has to be a priority here in Texas, and thank you for being here today.
And in summary, I would just like to say that the history since 1991 of noncompliance is so unacceptable that as a commissioner, as a person who has the responsibility of addressing public health when we get those opportunities, that I would feel that this is one of those opportunities not to allow it to pass us by, but to stand with those that recognize the number of school days lost, the number of work days lost, the emergency room visits, and ultimately the death of people due to where we live, Dallas County, geographically, and the way the winds blow throughout the state. And that affects absolutely everybody in this county, and that is unacceptable. So thank you, Dr. Haley, for your work. Thank you, Dr. John, because I know you're here spiritually in your scientific support of and verification of what is reality. So thank you for taking time out of your day. And as has been said, there is no lack of the desire to work together to attain a better place for all of the residents of Dallas County. So thank you, and thank you.
Thank you.
Our next resolution is from Commissioner Price.
Judge, Commissioners, we're glad to have Mayor Carl Sherman, his family, and their delegation, so that they'll come forward. Whereas Dallas County District 3 is the largest by land mass and diversity in Dallas County, and the city of DeSoto is a shining and brilliant example of exceptional governance and management. And whereas Mayor Carl O. Sherman Sr. is the 20th elected mayor in DeSoto, holds the distinction as the first African American to lead its 50,000 plus residents with an annual budget which exceeds 72 million and 350 professionals in its employ during his 2 terms at the helm. Whereas Mayor Carl O. Sherman Sr. is an active proponent for economic development that has resulted in companies of all sizes coming to DeSoto, including national retailer Kohl's E-commerce Distribution Center that employs over 2,000 people, a revitalization of Downtown Economic Development Corporation that has been upgraded from a Tier 5 to the second highest tier status, Tier 2, which it shares with only 2 other North Texas cities. And whereas Mayor Carl O. Sherman has a vast and voluminous history as a community advocate and has rendered distinguished service to the Dallas Regional Mobility Coalition Board and the Tex 21 subsidiary of River of Trade, the Agile Port and Trans-Texas Carter, DeSoto's Rotary Club, Chamber of Commerce, and the Best Southwest Chamber of Commerce, among others. And whereas Mayor Carl O. Sherman Sr. has more than 2 decades of experience as an entrepreneur, and in 2003 became a visionary 35-year-old chairman and CEO, navigating eTelecharge.com Inc. onto Wall Street, where it traded on both the U.S. NASDAQ and the Frankfurt Exchange in Europe, and AT&T Corporation's Alex Award for his patent application and recognition as one of the Dallas Urban League's most promising leaders of the 21st century. And whereas Mayor Carlos Sherman Sr. accepted the call to the ministry to serving God's kingdom and became an ordained minister after serving as bishop for 2 years, and now pastors 2 congregations as a senior minister of the Church of Christ in both Hutchins and Wilmer. Now therefore be it resolved that the Dallas County Commissioners Court does hereby acknowledge with great esteem and adulation and join with the citizens of DeSoto and all of Dallas County as it bids adieu and offers the best wishes to Mayor Carlos Sherman Sr. for his outstanding and exemplary service to the North Texas region. And I so move.
I second.
Right. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Mayor?
Judge Jenkins, Commissioner Price, I am very blessed to have my family's support behind me. My beautiful wife, Michelle Sherman, of 28 years, our oldest son, Carl Jr., the oldest daughter couldn't be here today, Ryan Marie, and Ellis Sherman, 21, behind me. He's the tallest one there. Erin Sherman, she is, I guess I don't have to say the last name. Erin, she came here especially for this last night from Lamar University. So I really appreciate her being here, knowing how proud we are of her and her performance academically at Lamar University. Erin is 19, just turned 19, and then our youngest son, Jordan, he is certainly making a name for himself. And I've been coming down here since 2006 consistently, and so I've seen quite a bit of change on this court. From Mayfield used to sit there, and Dickey used to sit there, and Foster used to sit there, and you know, there's a lot of change that has happened.
Somebody's bringing back badminton.
Brought back fond memories for you. But I'll tell you the consistent.
Acid reflux. In the doctor's
The consistent leadership of Commissioner Price has been a shining beacon for District 3 and all of Dallas County because of his tenacity to looking at business, the economics of any development, and concern about all of the city and the county. And so I'm grateful to have been a part of Dallas County in my role as mayor of the All-American City of DeSoto, which I believe your administrator resides in. And so it really, I'm honored that you would think so much of me, that you would give me this resolution. But I share it with my great family, for which not many women would support a man who is so committed to a job that doesn't pay you financially. But my family has been there for me, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Mayor,
No.
well, I just want to say thank you. You know, you're a transportation expert, really, with all the time and effort that you put in, your vision and leadership in transportation. I just want to say thank you on behalf of the whole court for all the stuff that you've been involved in and have done for Dallas County.
But, you know, one of the things, and the mayor didn't talk a lot about it, while in the resolution I talked about E-codes. When we launched that whole E-codes initiative, it was the last one built in the country. Correct, Rick? And it has now become the #1 E-codes in the country, surpassing both the East Coast and the West Coast. I've had the occasion, because we forged a plan on their employment, and I've had the occasion to go out with the mayor and speak to the employees. one of the things that's real constant when businesses talk about locating to the area, one of the things they want to know is that do you have a workforce that is reliable? And one of the things that we ask of ECOS was to have some consideration with regards to employment with DeSoto first, since they were taking advantage, and everyone else. I think today over 50% of their employee base comes out of DeSoto, and they have one of the best time and attendance records in the country, which again led to their expansion. And I said that because once we did that, we also got with the City of Dallas, we expanded with Home Depot, we did a lot of expansions along that corridor out there. And so, Mayor, you've given a lot of, leadership. They talk about jobs in the South, as I said, over 2,000 just ECOs alone. And one of the things we did not say in terms of tax base, because of that, DeSoto has now surpassed other, quote, best Southwest cities, which they're all in my district, but you're now leading in terms of that whole tax piece with regards to with my cities. And so I just want to say thank you. It's taken great leadership, and I just appreciate it.
But thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, Commissioner Cantrell, for your comments and for your vote of confidence in both you and Commissioner Price appointing me to the DRMC. And thank you, Commissioner Price, for your staunch leadership in bringing the resources for our Eagle Park Industrial Park. The Daniel Dale Road project was extremely important to creating that development. And we are creating more economic development from that road project. Glass Floss, the oldest HVAC company in the nation, is now going to be headquartered in the city of DeSoto. They will bring over 300 jobs. And we are focused and concerned about creating livable wage jobs. So the focus is clear for us, and we will continue to focus on that. And certainly we were proud to surpass all the best Southwest cities. We now have a workforce that surpasses 7 of the 11 other best Southwest cities. More than 28,000 jobs are now in DeSoto. We surpassed last year, the first 3 months of the fiscal year, we surpassed Addison in sales tax revenue. So we are focused and we are committed to improving the economics in the South suburban areas.
Mayor, before you get off there, we're not through praising you yet. I want to say this. During the tornadoes that recently happened, not every mayor was as active as you were. I think you recognized that your citizens needed to see you and that they needed to know that their mayor cared. One of the things that was most impressive to me about Carl Sherman, who I've known for a long time and already impressed with, is there were a few times during those tornadoes where I would text all the mayors and city managers and I would say, do you have any residents that were affected in this way? And Carl would always be the first person to respond back, and he would not just respond back with, yes, we have 6 residents. He would respond back with, yes, so-and-so, 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 and their 2 kids, so-and-so, so-and-so. He knew every person who was affected. He went door to door with me every time, most times that I was down there. And I think talked to every single resident who had damage to their home, not by phone, but on their doorstep. And really let them know that as the face of DeSoto, he cared about them and their family. And that was incredibly impressive to me. Also impressive to me was the excellent way that your team came together to get so much work done and freed up so much resources to go to other places because of the excellent way immediately, the night of the tornado that DeSoto jumped in
and really got their command center together and their work together and had a fully functioning response within 30 minutes of the tornado hitting your town. So kudos to you on that.
I would also like to say that even though you don't reside in my district, and that is my loss, I understand that. But what makes me proud of being from Dallas County, there's still only 5 of us here, and all of us coming together, and that's what Dallas County does. And that's where there are just shining examples throughout the whole county that stand up for its people, stand up for what's better for everybody, stand up for the individuals. And I think I haven't known you as long as some of the other people on the court, but definitely have watched you and the people who are with you, because we don't do anything by ourselves, and it takes all of us coming together to do it. So I just wanted to say thank you for what you contribute to Dallas County, so that when I go around the country and I can talk about what's going on with our people, with what we're doing, with how we face issues and problems, but then how we also go forward and are progressive. So I just want to chime in with what has already been said, but that you are able to shine on all of us, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Last but not least, let me just say that it's been a pleasure, Mayor, working with you and DeSoto at different levels, like pretty much all my colleagues have said. But I think that seeing you here every week with different parts of the community, with the DeSoto Independent School District, with teachers, with your staff, always, in the forefront of the issues that make the quality of life in DeSoto count. I know I've been working with you with, economic development, and we have some meetings about that. And it's always great to see that there's always an amalgamator, a conductor. And I think, DeSoto has been that amalgamator and conductor when we talk about the Great Southwest. So, hey, thank you, Commissioner Price, for bringing this recognition. I think it's well deserved, and I look forward to continue working with you here and DeSoto.
Right. And since you came all the way from Lamar, I want a picture. So y'all bring the family up, and while the family's coming, I also want Parkland to come up after them. So bring the family forward. On Saturday night, I had an opportunity to be with them, and Carl Sherman Jr., DeSoto Independent School District Board, and all of those kids from the AXO program, academic, cultural, technological, scientific, Olympics, were just unbelievable. And they are going to...
I'm glad you remember that.
AXO. Oh, yeah. AXO. AXO is a program by the NAACP, and they're going to compete on the national level. Got it?
Y'all bring some balance over here.
Yeah, that's right.
I know everybody wants to get behind Commissioner Price.
Yeah,
We really don't bite.
They're lying.
Got it? Okay, I want the Parkland delegation. You've got to come back. Parkland, come way down here now.
I'm going to have another one.
Yeah.
Presentation, I just saw someone in the audience.
Hello.
Come in.
Good job.
Parkland, Garland, come on. Good to see you. Thanks for being here with us.
You ain't on your job, William. Hell, I had to do it.
Well, thank you.
Oh, Mr. Garner.
Yeah. Come on in here. Good to see you again.
Hello, how you doing?
Photo. I remember.
Okay, are we ready? Come on, Dan.
Yeah, y'all come in
Balance
here.
over there.
Yeah, come on in. Come on in here. Just move in here. Mr. Martin, move that mic down, because that mic, I can't believe that mic. Okay, thank you. There you go.
Like the president.
Yeah, make it look like the judge is a unicorn. Y'all got it? Y'all did that quick?
That was great.
Okay, got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you very
Good to
much.
see you.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, 3 of us represent Garland.
Yeah,
There's 3 of us.
triple the power.
That's right, 3.
They're very
Okay,
lucky.
Judge, I'm next, and I'm going to ask for a,
Certainly.
thank you.
Let me do the point of privilege. I just want to say, Dr. Daniels and I got a chance to attend the Women Transportation Society.
Oh, that's
And
right.
Alberta Blair, our Director of Public Works, was awarded the Woman of the Year. And all of her colleagues. And so we were very pleased to be there, to see her get that award, and from her colleagues in the transportation industry. It says what they think of our Director of Public Works.
And we see what she does here, but to hear what people across the area were saying about her and the leadership role she takes in transportation issues, in helping other women come into an area that we are still unrepresented at our full capacity at, was very, very heartwarming to see. So congratulations. Keep it coming.
And Judge, before Dr. Garcia starts, I want to say on behalf of the court, Dr. Garcia appeared before the Senate Select Committee on Tax Reform and Relief last week, and I can assure you, she did such a great job. It was fantastic. She testified as well as took the questions. And I can tell you this, it is not a friendly committee. But she did an excellent job and represented the county very well. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of the court.
For Dallas County. Anyway, with that.
If anyone wants to know how unfriendly of a committee it is, Google, what is it, Lieutenant Governor attacks county judge, and watch.
Yeah, we were there for that, too. Yeah.
Watch that 5-minute video.
He kind of saved the
Sharks attacking people.
No, and the best part was that after that attack, they said, next panel,
Yeah.
Dr. Alba Garcia is like, okay, here we go.
But you did a fantastic job from all
It
accounts.
was
Thank
fun.
you.
And, needed to be said. So with that, thank you to staff, thank you to Mr. Reed, and thank you, colleagues, for, being there, Ms. Commissioner Control. Okay, now, thank you, Judge. It's my turn, and I would like to have a moment of privilege for this presentation, which is for 2 very special people. And the first one I want to recognize is obviously my good friend, Elvia Wallace Martinez, which is the founder of DCET, Debes Creer en Ti, which means believe in yourself. And like I say, it was founded by Elvia Wallace Martinez, which is also with the guest today. Elvia, Ms. Teresa Rivera, can you please come forward to the microphone? Like I say, this DCET was founded by Elvia Wallace Martinez with the purpose of assisting the immigrant communities by providing personal and business development, focusing on literacy, mentoring, leadership, with classes of ESL, GED, citizenship, computer, and Spanish literacy classes with great partners, volunteers, as well as the City of Irving and Irving Independent School District, all with the purpose of helping immigrant communities, to find the solutions and needs that we need while adjusting to the cultural and society in this country. So it was in one of these classes when I met Ms. Teresa Rivera Calvillo. Ms. Teresa Rivera told me, Dr. Garcia, doctora, I'm taking high school classes. Estoy tomando mis clases de secundaria. And I'm very proud to tell you that I'm going to graduate, and I'm going to graduate with honors. Y quiero decirle que me voy a graduar y me voy a graduar con honores. And when that happens, cuando eso pase, I want you to give me my high school certificate. It will be a great honor for me that you give it to me. Sería un honor muy grande para mí que usted me lo diera. And that humbles a lot of us when we go into the community and we see how much people fight, to be part of this country, to be part of this culture, to be educated, and to make a difference in our community. So when I find out that Teresa Rivera Calvillo had graduated, Elvia called me and said, guess what? You made a promise and now, I want you to fulfill it. So that's why I'm very honored today to be able to fulfill this promise to Ms. Teresa Rivera Calvillo. And Elvia has the diploma, and I have a special recognition for her here, as well as a small present of graduation and appreciation for both of you. So if you can allow me. This is for you, Ms. Teresa. Congratulations. Here is the diploma saying that she graduated from high school, and she is now, has a certificate as well as a recognition from this county for her achievement. Y le doy las muchísimas felicidades por su trabajo y gracias por estar aquí. Estoy muy orgullosa de usted. I'm very, very proud. Y esto es para al revés. You want to say a few words? Y luego pasas para una foto.
Dr. Elba Garcia, dearest friend of many years, I really want to thank you very, very kindly for this recognition. I was just here bringing Teresita Calvillo, and it is an honor for us, a community learning center that started exactly 20 years ago with no resources, with a big desire of assist immigrants in their process of assimilation and acculturation. And to me, without salary 20 years, it represents that my biggest present, it's the tears of students that graduate, the children and youth that come out of negative family outcomes. And to me, that is a very great satisfaction. My emotions overwhelm me because I know that having Teresita, a senior lady, like I am too, having her at 72 years of old come up with the idea of learning how to write and read, and learning how to write those signs, and learning and becoming an elementary graduate. From there on to junior high and high school, she'd made it. And I'm very honored to bring her here. And thank you, Commissioners, Dr. Elba Garcia, for this privilege. We appreciate it very much.
Okay. And while you're coming up,
You can go behind the judge. Sí, okay. Wants to.
Just one more.
I got one of them antique.
thank you for all your hard work that inspires people to continue their hard work to become part and to be able to add to the mosaic that we have become here. So thank you very much for all you do. And congratulations to you.
And all the classes are free, so that is very good. Thank you. And then the next presentation, I believe, is a recognition from Carter Blood Care. I see my friend Linda there, and it's always great to see you, Miss Linda. I'm very honored.
Yes, good morning, Honorable Commissioners Court of Dallas County. I'm Linda Gelzer, Public Relations Director for Carter Blood Care, your independent community blood center. It's my pleasure to address the court this morning to recognize one of your own. Last summer, County Commissioner Elba Garcia, District 4, dedicated herself to help raising awareness about blood donation. and educating others about what the requirements are for blood locally to help hundreds of patients each day in our hospitals. Dr. Garcia supported an effort with Carter Blood Care in the two largest cities in her district, Irving and Grand Prairie, to host a summer-long blood drive, which we called Dr. Elba Garcia's Summer Blood Drive Challenge. You may remember we kicked it off in this courtroom in June with representatives from Irving and Grand Prairie, and came back in August to announce the victory for Grand Prairie. The campaign was a huge success, bringing in 525 blood donors in just this effort. We have many, many others all summer long. There were 113 first-time blood donors, so that was a great success at a time of great need for blood, which is summer. Each year, America's Blood Centers, the advocacy organization on behalf of community-based blood organizations, honors the nation's top organizations and individuals for promoting volunteer blood donation and awareness of the everyday need for blood. Corporations, civic organizations, members of the media, and individuals receive accolades for saving lives through blood donation and for supporting nonprofit community-based blood programs. These honors are given at the Awards of Excellence program held annually at ABC annual meeting. Carter Blood Care entered this program under the category Most Creative Blood Drive. And Dr. Garcia's Summer Blood Drive Challenge won against competition from large blood programs all over the country. So today, on behalf of Carter Blood Care, it is my privilege to publicly thank you, Dr. Garcia, for the work you did on behalf of patients in the community, putting yourself out there when you have many, many other things to do, and for recognizing the importance of blood donation and availability of blood for large hospitals everywhere and small hospitals in our communities. So please come forward and accept this award on behalf of Carter Blood Care and America's Blood Centers.
Well, I just want to say thank you to Carter Blood Care for this award. The reality is we have fun. And God knows I want to thank my staff as well as yours, because they work very hard in thinking the different ways where we could bring people to needles, Commissioner Price, which are very painless, by the way. Just saying what our message is, to save lives. And that's exactly what I think, came true. All of us donated blood in our office, and I know many of your staffs here donated blood, and I want to thank you all. Because together, we say how many people in there. We have around 500, people, 509 something that donated, and then 150 were new blood donors. So we hope that we will continue to touch those blood donors, so they can, now that they're not scared, they can continue to make a difference, saving lives. So
Thank you very
so
much. We appreciate
and,
it.
Of course, I want to thank the mayor of Irving and Grand Prairie for also being such good sports and donating blood as well. So, thank you.
I think he wants to get a picture, Dr. Garcia. Yeah.
Sorry?
You want to get a picture?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure. We're still waiting for Commissioner Price.
Yeah. I'll be needles.
They're painless.
like needles.
Yeah, right.
And plus, they give you the best snacks afterwards.
Yeah, okay. Best snack in the world, the noodle.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
All right. And that takes us to our consent agenda. Is there a motion on the consent agenda? Is there a motion on our consent agenda?
So move.
I'll second, because just a consent.
Yeah, just a consent.
Okay.
Any discussion on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Judge, since I moved for a motion to suspend the agenda, we should now take up court order number 24.
You're going to do the bid? Oh, you're going to do that
Oh,
first?
that's the reason, because of the
So
way.
moved. Yeah, so moved.
Right.
All right, is there a second on that?
He said move. A second.
Okay.
I'm sorry, who motioned?
Motion by Cantrell, second by Commissioner Price. Commissioner Cantrell and Commissioner Price.
Okay, and then Commissioner Price?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I thought that was just on to suspend the rules. but-
Well, no, we've already
done
suspended
that.
it. Yeah, we suspended the rule. I'm just moving 24.
Okay.
But that's to move 24 to now.
Right.
Okay.
All right, and is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay.
Motion carries unanimously.
And the reason I needed to move it, Mr. Lesberg going to come forward, the increasing the replacement, bless you, housing contract amounts to be considered in conjunction with the awarding of the contract for those bid numbers. And those bid numbers are the same bid numbers that are in our awards. And so I just wanted to make sure that the court didn't do it backwards, and this is the proper way to do it. So I'm just asking, is there any concern with regards to court order 24? Because we need to adopt that before we deal with the award of bids. I think it's pretty clear, so if there's a motion accepted, then move court order 24.
Yeah, I've moved it. I think we.
It's already.
I'm okay, move the second.
It's already passed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Well, not in passed, we ain't even voted on it, we discussed it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we voted.
we discussed and passed it.
Well, we're just supposed to be discussing it, and then.
Well, we already
Gotcha.
voted.
Well, I asked for any questions
Moving
or
fast,
comments.
okay.
We're
moving
very
fast.
efficient.
Got it.
All right.
Okay, award of bids.
Okay,
So moved.
second.
All right, any discussion on the bids?
And Rick, now that we've done that kind of fast, that this is the way it should be?
Correct.
And that responds,
The word will be in compliance with the policy.
okay, thank you.
And we have all the money, the increase from 70 to 90. Okay, sounds good? Yes.
All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Yeah.
Almost.
This now takes us to our court orders. Is there a motion?
Well, Judge, I want to pull court order 14 and 15. They're on closed session, and I'm sure we're going to probably want to talk about court order 49.
Right.
Closed session. So I've got 14, 15, and 49 on closed session.
Okay.
Pulling 20, 21, and 22?
Yeah, here's what we got. We have a motion on court orders 1 through 48, pulling 14, 15, 20, 21, 22, and 24, since we've already voted on it.
Right.
Okay. Now,
And
49.
49.
well, 49,
Did
right,
1
1
through
through 48 plus 49.
Okay. Well, I'm a judge.
And don't, just get that, no, don't worry about the rest, and I'll come back and say what we're going to vote on. While we are doing that, I want to recognize someone who is here today. I was sitting here looking at the clock and thinking about what his hourly rate is and how much, if we were paying him, we would be charged. But Jeff Tillotson is here. Jeff will be my appointee to the Parkland Board. My second appointee, he'll join Natalie Sorrell there as my two appointees at the Parkland Board. Jeff is...
Stand up.
Yeah, Jeff, stand up so everybody can see you.
Here we go.
I think they all know you. So here's a Jeff. A little bit about Jeff. I think most of y'all know him already. He is amongst lawyers. He's kind of an apex lawyer that represents people in kind of bet the farm litigation He's the person who deposed Lance Armstrong and got the money back for the people that paid him a bunch of prize money for winning some bike races on drugs that were banned substances. He's done a lot of things like that. He's also taken on some unpopular causes to protect the Constitution and people's civil rights. An obscure fact about Jeff, many people know that he's Hispanic, but his mom is actually a Navarro, which is Navarro County, and they've been here since they got a Spanish land grant. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Navarro, did he fight at the Alamo, or he fought at one of those? And is a famous early Texan. May not have fought at the Alamo since he lived past then, but now I think of it, but a famous early Texan. And Jeff's family's been here forever. He's talked to me about Parkland probably for 5 years about his passion for making sure that the people at Parkland are well taken care of and well served. So, Jeff, we're glad to have you coming on board there, and thanks for being here today. Do we have it up on the? We do. Okay, and so we got it on the board. Is there anyone that wants to make a motion on those orders as we stated earlier?
So moved.
Second.
All right. I guess we just had discussion about Jeff, but any discussion about any other court order on these before we get to all the ones that are pulled? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motions carry unanimously.
Move court order number 20.
Second.
You can call it.
Moved by Commissioner Price, second by
I
Commissioner.
didn't think you could. I think you got to move.
20.
All right, and there was a second,
by
correct?
Commissioner Control.
Any discussion on court order 20?
The price of Commissioner Cantrell.
Correct.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any against? All abstaining?
I'm abstaining too.
Abstain?
You abstaining? Okay.
2 abstentions.
Could you press?
He did. All right, so motion carries 3 to nothing. Next.
Court order 21 is before us. I so move.
Second.
Is there any discussion on court order 21? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
I abstain. Motion carries 3 to nothing. All right.
And court order 22 is before us. So move.
Second.
This JP Courts, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
the System Soft Technologies,
Yes.
purchase service contract, yeah.
It was moved by Commissioner Cantrell.
No.
Price, and second by Commissioner Control.
Right, yeah,
All right.
that's what it is.
And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those abstaining, I abstain. All right, motion carries 3 to nothing. And this takes us to, do we want to do any public discussion of 14, 15, or 49 before discussing those in closed?
We would discuss those in closed. All for closed session.
Closed session.
On, let's see, make sure that's not one of the court orders that, Dan, which one's the one we discussed? Is that 49 or, I know you wanted to lay that out for, was that 49?
Yeah, no, 49 is also.
Oh, okay. So, which, 40 what?
I think it's 39. The
39,
DIR.
okay. So, on 39, you want to lay out what we talked about?
Yes, sir, Judge.
Yeah, he wanted to explain something on 39. And I thought it was 49, so I neglected to give him the opportunity.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Well, we voted.
It's just an explanation.
Yeah,
He's not looking to not vote on it.
Yes, sir, this agenda item was reflecting the utilization of DIR, the Department of Information Resources. Commissioners Court previously authorized the Purchasing Department to procure with vendors under the DIR state contracts. And so we brought this agenda forward just as an information item only to let the court know that we're going to spend approximately $25 million with various DIR vendors but will continue to come back to court with items exceeding $50,000 for further transparency.
All right, any comments, anything on that? All right, hearing none, thank you, Dan. Our next item, we've got some speakers. Will the bailiff please read the rules of decorum for our public speakers?
All Commissioners Court attendees are hereby advised that this meeting is conducted in accordance with the provisions of the Dallas County Code, Section 74, 71. Visitors and registered speakers are to preserve order and decorum at all times. Personal, profane, or slanderous remarks are not appropriate and will not be allowed at any time during this public meeting. Any and all applause is to be kept brief in observance of time constraints. Disruptive visitors and or registered speakers may be removed and are subject to the penalties provided in the State of Texas Criminal Code, Sections 3813, 4201, and 4205. Registered individual speakers are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, and the maximum discussion on any one topic is limited to 30 minutes.
All right, and our first speaker today is Ms. Dora Payne. Ms. Dora Payne. Ms. Dora Payne. And I don't see Ms. Payne. Our next speaker today is Ms. Dolores Phillips. Do you see Ms. Phillips? All right, Ms. Phillips, good morning. Ms. Phillips, could you please state your name and address for the record?
Dolores Phillips, P.O. Box 530236, Grand Prairie, Texas 75053. You do have documents. Most of these documents are court documents. And Bonder 3 is going to show that I did contact Honorable Jenkins and the mayor about the corruption back in 2001 where they altered the 911 call and erased 2 others, extending the cover-up of the corruption into Green Oaks, October 25th, 2013. My concern is the public has a right to know, and the corruption that continues is not only at the United States District Court, Federal Court, it's also at the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, it is at the United States Supreme Court, it's at the United States Department of Justice. Now, if I'm speaking the truth of the corruption, we've been unlawfully detained and unlawfully handcuffed, taken to Green Oaks, allegedly because I won't open, whatever that means to whoever is connected and networked to it, while simultaneously covering up ongoing corruption that the citizens have to endure and be subjected to. That means when Honorable Governor Perry at the time was indicted, Commissioner Price, Fain, Neely, Tantillo down in Austin, who was recently indicted, connected to Commissioner Price, and also Ken Paxton. That means that I allege they are the cover-ups for one of the most massive, well-known, documented, low-to-high cover-ups of a criminal conspiracy ever committed in Dallas. I will testify to that under oath in the court of law, under sworn oath, and that you know, Honorable Jenkins, that I speak the truth of them altering the 911 call. That was when Chief Cochran was in office, when Special Agent Commander Robert Casey was in office at the FBI, and I'm left to be the scapegoat for this ongoing massive cover-up while they unleash all of these deceptively brilliant smoke screens to counterattack me while speaking the truth. If I'm speaking the truth of the ongoing corruption, that means that even if Governor Perry then, Commissioner Price, and Ken Paxton are guilty of the crimes they're alleged of doing, it's petty crimes compared to this massive ongoing cover-up from low to high. And I will testify to that under sworn oath. I do thank you for your time.
All right, our next speaker is Mr. Richard Sheridan.
Yes, good morning. Richard Sheridan, 11301 Dennis Road, Dallas, Texas. And happy Mother's Day to all Dallas County mothers. Homeless care, city or county? County, certainly. As the city can learn from New York, so Dallas County can learn from LA County. I've been speaking for the Commissioner's Court for over 13 years, advocating for better treatment of our homeless. A commissioner once chanted, "No justice, no peace." If there is no justice, there will be no peace until Dallas follows God's laws and takes care of its homeless, majority which are black. The majority of Dallas homeless are black children, women, and men. The recent ongoing 10-city incident may be the last straw to cause a lawsuit versus the city of Dallas. Up to 300 homeless people have been living in tents under I-45 overpass for the last year. They were actually helped by the city with portable toilets and protection by the police department. Charitable organizations were allowed to provide them with food, and these homeless people lived in Tent City because, one, there aren't enough shelter beds in Dallas. Two, they don't want to be subjected to the abusive treatment at the city's bridge facilities and other homeless shelters. Now, all of a sudden, the homeless tent city is unacceptable to the city. It's an eyesore to the elite of Dallas, who are much more interested in appearances. This is a city which prides itself on its world-class skyline, while homeless people live in the shadows in filth and squalor, as Dallas is a new Babylon, in my opinion. Can Dallas learn from New York's homeless program? In the late 70s, New York passed a law that requires all of its homeless be provided shelter. At the time, there were about 30,000 homeless in the streets of New York. Since that landmark case, former Mayor Giuliani and Bloomberg and Governor Pataki have tried unsuccessfully to overturn that court order requiring shelter for all those homeless. They failed, and I pray that they will continue to fail, that the heartless for the homeless will continue to fail in New York City. Here in Dallas, we are so far from providing shelter for the homeless that our homeless providers have found a way to provide shelter for only a fraction of our homeless and make millions in an alleged RICO conspiracy. Dallas homeless population is at an all-time high, and the complaints from irate Dallas residents increase this day. To this day, to me, the years of abuse of Dallas homeless is coming to a head. The years of sending our homeless to jail and allowing them to get sick is becoming revealed, and chickens are coming home to roost. The chickens who hide in the shadows and make millions with the cruel and unusual punishment of our homeless are being revealed. So considering the city's homeless program is a near total failure, isn't it about time the county take on this most important job? The county's paying about $150 million a year between the jail and health care costs, and then you got the county hospitals. The county is, again, $150 million a year. Add the local hospitals cost $200 million. Please check out what Los Angeles County is doing. The county has realized the consequences of the city of LA's failures in addressing the homeless issues and are now taking over the job of caring for the homeless. It's a very interesting article that the LA Times wrote about this subject. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And again, happy Mother's Day to you all.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Judge Elizabeth Frizzell.
Judge Jenkins, Commissioners, Commissioner Price, Commissioner Garcia, Mr. Cantrell, Commissioner Daniel. I'm Judge Elizabeth Frizzell, Judge of Criminal District Court Number 7. I addressed you all about 5 years ago regarding a personnel issue regarding my court coordinator, Georgia Wilson. She had been a 33-year employee of Dallas County. I appreciate you all for resolving that matter. I think Commissioner Cantrell and Commissioner Price were on the panel at that time. I'm here before you for a similar matter. January 1st, I hired a court coordinator that had been a 23-year veteran court clerk for the district clerk's office. She was qualified as a level 2 under the JSP Judicial Support Act, which requires 11 years experience. But for some reason, she was designated as a 1. And I think Mr. Martin's been helping me try to get that approved. But for whatever reason, we're here in May, and she's still designated as a 1. So I'm asking the commissioners for her to designate her as a 2. It's not even in dispute. We passed the, we passed the JSP many years ago because there was disparity in court coordinators' pay. A coordinator could work for one judge, get $20,000, work for a coordinator right next door could work for another judge, get $45,000 because it was based on how long that judge had been in office, not the coordinator's experience, not the coordinator's caseload. So JSP was passed to make sure there was less disparity in pay for the exact same job description. I'm not sure why it hasn't already been done, but now that we're at May, I felt like I needed to speak up for her.
This matter has been referred to HR.
Yes, it has. HR has reviewed it, and they're going to take another look, but HR has made the decision prior and shared that with the court.
Okay.
But I'll have them take another look
Okay.
at it.
Okay, and HR did look at it. They're not using JSB for some reason. They're using a different standard that has nothing to do with JSB. They're using the standard you would use for a non-court coordinator. JSP was passed specifically for court coordinators. Why pass it if you're not going to use it? And I've been going back and forth with HR about why they are not applying the JSP to the court coordinators.
And I want to remind everyone, we can't discuss this
Right,
because it's
correct.
not on our agenda.
I got it. Got it. I just asked if HR had looked at it. Got it.
Okay, thank you for letting me address you today.
All right. So our final speaker is Mr. William Hopkins.
This is the same resolution.
No, you haven't signed, or it just,
We signed one with it.
I don't think so.
What was that on? What's it on?
I don't know.
Texas Human Services.
You haven't signed that yet. There's a lot of resolutions. Go ahead, sir. We'll vote no, or don't sign it. You can give it to her, please. You go ahead, sir, and state your name for the record, and...
My name is William Hopkins. I'm here, I signed up for CPS and Gabriel Bates. Gabriel Bates, he was 11 years old when the police took him from Earhart and took him to the police station and kept him to the next day. And they told him, well, you want to go home with your mother, Gabriel? He said, yeah. They said, you hungry? This was the next day after they took him from Earhart. No parents, no lawyer, nothing. So you hungry? He said, yeah. So they took Gabriel to the McDonald's. And he came up with a story like, well, okay, I raped a little 3-year-old girl. Now you tell us this, that you raped this little 3-year-old girl, and we're going to take you to McDonald's, and we're going to take you home with your mother. You want to go home with your mother? He said, yeah. So you tell us you raped this little 3-year-old girl, and we're going to take you home, and we're going to take you to McDonald's. So he told him that. Gabriel's mother lead level with Paula Bates was 200 and like maybe 45 or 34 lead level. Her lead level was so high. She made the Dallas Morning News, Dallas Morning News paper when they came out with the lead in 85 and 95 about the lead in West Dallas. This is his mother. So Gabriel was in special ed, and so they had a 7 and an 8-year-old with Gabriel. So the police went to court, the Henry Wade Juvenile Court, and he told that the 7 and 8-year-old said that, all of them raped the little 3-year-old girl. And he went to court and he told them that the 7 and 8-year-old told him that. So when they brought the 7 and 8-year-old to court, I told Gabriel lawyer, well, look, the 7 and 8-year-old can't talk. They can't talk at all. They had media heart and they can't talk at all. Their mother and father was so full of lead that they was almost deformed. These children can't talk. They sleeping in the car. I know this for a fact. Everybody across Westmoreland know that these children were sleeping in the car and were eating out of the trash can. Gabriel knew it, so he took them in. This was Gabriel's fault for taking them in and feeding them in the back door and out of the windows and stuff and feeding these 7 and 8-year-olds because they couldn't talk. Couldn't nobody communicate with them but Gabriel. So this is how they get real close. Gabriel went to prison for like 10 years for nothing. I asked John and everybody. I brought the 9 year. I brought the sexual assault papers down here and showed it to John and Lee Jackson that the 3-year-old was fine. She was fine. She had a sexual assault test and it was fine that the 3-year-old wasn't raped. And Gabriel spent 10 years in prison and the 7 and 8-year-old couldn't even talk at me Earhart. And nobody, y'all can't say nothing because the attorney, somebody over here will say y'all can't talk. And this how you lock up all the blacks and Hispanics for nothing, Judge Jenkins. You lock them up, nobody don't say nothing, and DA, she on like prescription drugs, nobody got no help, everybody just stay in prison, black and Hispanics.
Hopkins, you're out of time. Thank you, sir. All right. And that is our final speaker for today. The court will now adjourn to our closed session to consider matters under Chapter 551 of the Government Code as previously posted. Any action as a result of the closed session will take place in a subsequent open session. We'll adjourn for closed session momentarily.
Give Mike Eastman a call and tell him I can
They're gonna vote again.
We're gonna do 14 and 15 together or separate?
We can do them together.
I appreciate
I
that.
mean,
I mean, we do
no matter, we'll be out.
Can you work on that end?
Right. There's a lot of work that goes into getting us where we're at right now.
Yeah, no, I understand that piece of it.
And
Yeah, I'd like to.
Is there a motion on court orders 14 and 15?
Not one of them in compliance
Move approval.
forever and a day.
You know, not support 14 and 15.
Which
14
one?
and 15.
Yeah, it doesn't cost us
I
anything.
got you.
So I'm just.
All right, so motion by Commissioner Cantrell.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Cool, I motioned and seconded.
Commissioner Daniels?
You can't motion in second.
I can't motion and second?
Did you second?
Who's gonna second?
Okay. All right, I'll second it then.
Second judge, okay.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Aye.
Whoa!
Wait,
Okay, since it didn't cost anything and it's not an exception, I vote yes.
All right, motion carries 3-2, and we avoid a federal lawsuit. All right, next up.
Move court order 49.
just
All
a
right.
moment, Judge, I mean, Commissioner.
Okay.
By the skin of our teeth, we avoided that.
Oh, second.
Hey, what happened, Commissioner Daniels?
All right. All right, so we got a motion and a second. I'm going to read this.
Court order 49.
Okay, I'm going.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none. I guess before we vote, I better read the contract into the record.
Well, you can just submit it. You can just.
Not just submit it.
No, well, what do you want, Russ?
Just the order.
The order, yeah, the order into the
You
record.
didn't have to
right.
read it.
He wanted me to.
Oh, okay.
I think just the order, the judge
So-
that decreed.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Just do it. Yeah.
before we vote, let me read the following. It is ordered, adjudged, and decreed that the Commissioners Court grants an exception for competitive bidding and proposal procedures in accordance with Texas Local Government Code 262.024A4, providing that a contract for personal or professional services is exempt from the requirement established by Section 262.023 by the Local Government Code. Commissioners Court selects Anthony Constant and Andrew Summerman, McCafferty, and Casada as special counsel and approves and adopts the terms and conditions of employment as such counsel is set forth in the attached professional services agreement. Commissioners Court authorizes special counsel to file such claims in litigation as special counsel deems necessary against Volkswagen, Acton Gellenshaft, Volkswagen Group of America, Inc., Audi Acton Gellenshaft, and Audi of America, LLC, their corporate affiliates, parents, subsidiaries, and such other defendants as may be added to the litigation. The lawsuit concerns air pollution caused by the sale, maintenance, and operation of certain automobiles in Dallas County, and violation of the Texas Clean Air Act and the environmental regulation promulgated by the TCEQ in Title 30 of the Texas Administration Code, and any other applicable common law or statutory cause of action that may exist to reduce air pollution in Dallas County and prevent conduct that increases air pollution in Dallas County in violation of law, including those laws that preceded the current statute. The Dallas County judge or his designee is authorized to execute on behalf of the Dallas County in agreement with special counsel hereinafter the agreement containing terms and provisions substantially similar to those contained in the attached agreement, because the court finds that there is a substantial need for the legal services of special counsel which cannot adequately be performed by attorneys and supporting personnel of Dallas County or another public agency, nor can the legal services be reasonably obtained from lawyers in private practice under the contract providing only for the payment of hourly fees without regard to the outcome of the matter because of the nature of the representation. All fees to be paid to special counsel are contingent upon the recovery of the penalty, attorney's fees, and costs as provided by the agreement and shall be paid only, underline only, from such recovery, and no money shall be due or paid from the general fund or any special fund under the agreement. All Dallas County officials and employees are authorized
to do any and all things necessary or convenient to accomplish the purposes of this order. And further, council has agreed that should any council in this group or in the group affiliated with the Midoff Law Firm enter into an agreement to do this work for an amount that would be less than the amounts paid by Dallas County under this contract, that the contract will be amended to reflect that and to amount to what is in the legal term known as a most favored nation clause. And if that is all correct, are we good, Russ, or is there anything else to add?
No.
Is it already in there that that's subject to approval by the comptroller? Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Excellent. Let's move.
Right?
Okay. Got a motion and a second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Time to exit.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Miss it.
Did you adjourn, Judge?
Yeah, no, we need to move to adjourn.
No further action from the court is necessary. Court stands adjourned.
Okay.